Hello.
Hello!
Hello everyone, welcome to this live stream where we will learn a lot about artistic filmmaking, unconventional 2D animation styles, stop motion, adult topics in animation and symbolic storytelling. And here with me are two fantastic filmmakers from Germany, Petra Stipetic and Maren Wiese. Hello guys!
Hello!
So, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what kind of stories do you like to tell? What films do you like to make?
I think we both... the music is gone. Okay. I think we both like to kind of invent our little worlds. We are very, like, when we start to have ideas, we usually like bounce off each other and we're like, yeah, but what if this happened and what if this happens? And I think it's, we always have like this fantasy that's going a little bit wild, and then we have to tame ourselves and rein it in a bit. But yeah, I think we like to make really surreal scenes. We don't really work on stories that are too like naturalistic, realistic. There's always like a little bit of imagination and a fantasy world. Yeah, that's kind of what we like to do.
Okay, fascinating. And so that everybody knows what we're talking about, I have a little excerpt for you from, it was your last movie, right? The last movie that you did?
Yes.
And yeah, we're gonna have a look at that now. Okay, fantastic. I really love that timing when he starts driving his bike and there's just this pause. I love stuff like that. So when we were preparing this live streams, you were sending me like one clip after the other, and I was like thinking to me like, how long is this film? Like, how long is this film?
It's 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Oh my god. Okay. Can you share a little bit what you learned while you were making the film, and how do you get 15 minutes? How do you get such a big project done?
Well, it kind of grew and grew over time. We started, actually, this project started with us making a point and click game. And it's a film and a game about the zodiac. So we have like 12 main characters. And obviously every little character has its own story arc and its own place in this world. And we were like, okay, if we're doing zodiacs, we can't really discriminate against them, which we still kind of did. Like some zodiacs kind of get the a lesser treatment than the others because we just like the other storylines more. But yeah, there's still so many characters, so many stories we wanted to tell. So the film just got longer and longer because we wanted to do everything justice. Yeah.
Okay. And how long did it take to make?
I think we did the movie and the game in, I think, 1 year with the layout and the character design. And then we got Förderung.
We got the film fund.
Funding. So we could make the movie, and we could pay other animators to help us. And then we finished it, I think, in 8 months. Yeah.
Okay.
So it took us about 1.5 years to make this transmedia thing with game and with the film.
Impressive. How does that work with the film funding? Like, what did the film fund want to see from you guys, so they could say like yes or no, we are funding them or we are not funding them?
Well, it's the process of why some films get funding and others don't is really not, like, you don't really understand it because they don't give you a reason really when you get rejected. But when we got the call that we get the funding, they told us that they really enjoyed our design, but that we should work on the storyline. So actually the story and the storyboard and the animatic completely changed after we already had the funding. So I think they were kind of intrigued by this whole transmedia thing, that it's a game and a film. Yeah, and they also really liked the designs of the characters. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Cool.
the storyline was too crazy before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, after finishing the movie, they want to see some level of success. I mean, it's not like they will want their money back if the film is totally unsuccessful, but it definitely helps that we've been at a few festivals and we've won a prize and everything. I think for like to get future funding, that's really important that you also put your project out there in the world for people to see. Yeah.
Yeah. Is your film online? Can it be seen online?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
We have a distribution now.
Yeah.
And I think they will deal with all the stuff, like Vimeo stuff pick maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they told us that obviously they don't know yet who will buy the film. So if a TV network is like, okay, we will buy the film, then usually they want exclusive rights, so you can't put it online at all for a few years. Or if they are like, okay, we will only release it online, then they will put it probably on their Amazon Prime account and stuff like that. But for now, it's not online.
Yeah, you can play the game.
You can play the game. Yeah.
Okay. Where can people play the game?
It's on itch.io.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I can recall the exact address, but it's on our website. If you go to Fishyfilms -animation.de.
Yeah.
And then you look under animation and then your future game.
Okay, your future game. All right. Okay, yeah, so people check that out. I am just wondering, how do you get such a big project done? Because when I talk to other independent animators, and their problem often is that they have a lot of ideas, they have a concept, they are working on stuff, but sometimes it just doesn't come together. Sometimes stuff never gets made. Like, what is your secret of pulling through and getting such a massive project done?
We sit for 14 hours on our Cintiq and we draw all day.
Oh, so doing. Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it.
No, but I think it really helps that we're two people, because with every project you get this, you get enthusiastic, you have this idea and you're like, I'm going to do this, and you start, and then there comes the slump where you're like, okay, this idea is stupid, everything's ugly, I hate this stuff I did 2 months ago, I want to do everything new. And I think if you work with a partner and you're both, like, we both had equal standing in this film, like we both did the concept, the animation, the design and everything. So when I was down and I was like, this is all bullshit, we should stop doing it, then Petra was like, no, it's good, we should do it, we already did half of work. And yeah, and vice versa. So I think having a good team really helps. We also had a great sound designer who put in a lot more hours than we paid him to, and a great musician who like revised stuff over and over again. And it's really great when you see other people's enthusiasm also for your project. So yeah.
We have a lot of gags, and when people laugh at the jokes we made, and we thought before maybe it's stupid, we cannot put the scene in there, and then people see it and they laugh, then it's very good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then it's all worth it. Okay, fascinating. Yeah, the interesting thing is that I have thought about this a lot recently of how I'm kind of jealous of the people that found themselves doing studying. Like, I worked on other people's projects and some people worked for me, but for me it never happens that I found like my work buddy and we would be a team and work together. So like if people ask me for advice, what would I do different? And I would definitely say like try to find someone who wants to make movies with you, because that makes so much stuff easier. You get more done, you can motivate yourself, and it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for me, it's always been the hardest part to tell someone about my ideas, because I think I'm naturally a bit shy, and I don't know, just this process. When I started studying, I would never talk about any of my ideas. I would always like sit and listen to other people's ideas, and I think you're similar. And just I think once you've done that step and you've told a person, and that person's like, that's a great idea, that motivates you so much more. And I think a lot of people are, they have these ideas, but they think, I don't know who to tell or who to talk about with this. So yeah, my advice would definitely be just tell people about it. And like some of them will say, oh, that's a boring idea, but maybe you will find someone who's like, oh my God, I've always wanted to do this. This is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's probably also a mix, sometimes you need somebody to tell you like, this maybe doesn't work. I mean, you got the feedback from the film funding and we're like, okay, yeah, you're right, we're gonna make it even better. Like it goes both ways. So yeah, I was wondering about working in a team. Like, how is the experience working together, and how do you do it if there's something that you disagree on? Does that happen? How do you solve that?
It definitely happens. I think we have a mutual understanding of what we generally want, and I think most disagreements are about small things. And usually it's like when you work on something and you've worked hard on an animation and you show it to someone and they're like, okay, but this is not good. Then usually I would get a bit defensive and I would be like, no, this is so good, I'm so proud of this. And then I would let it sit for a day, look at it the next day, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I can totally see what you mean. Yeah, okay, this is not good. And I think that's usually how we work. Like, we are very honest with each other. If we don't like something, we just say it.
But in a polite way.
But in a polite way. And yeah, I think it's good because we sit next to each other and we can show each other the stuff we do right away. So we don't have to like email back and forth or something. I'm just like, do you like this color? She says yes or no. And if we disagree, we just talk about it. Yeah, it's just communication.
Yeah. And we both have dogs, so if it gets too heated, we can go out with the dogs, have a walk. Yeah.
Yeah. So what did we learn today? Once again, communication is the key for any relationship. And and the therapeutic value of animals.
Get you
totally. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so we have another clip from your film, and I'm going to show that right now so we can see even more of your fantastic work. right now. Okay, nice. I was wondering about the cryptic symbolism in the movie. Like, do you know, like, do you know exactly why you did everything that you did in the film? Like, why is the old scales? Why are they giggling and stuff like that? I wonder where all this craziness comes from.
Oh, it all makes perfect sense if you if you're us. Yeah, I mean, obviously we researched a lot about the zodiacs and everything, like the characteristics and the traits of the characters are reflective of, you know, the kind of typical traits of the zodiacs.
Okay.
For example, the Libra, which is, there's the new Libra, like the green one that's dancing, and the old Libra that's get thrown in the trash. And I think they are, for example, laughing because Libras are supposed to be really naive and they love harmony and you know, stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, we know about everything. Sometimes it's more a problem that we forget that other people don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I do feel like that there's like something behind everything, and even though I don't understand it, I enjoy it very much, and I think that's the interesting thing about these films. Like, I mean, your film has a story that you can also follow a little bit, but at the same time, you have these elements that, as an outsider, you can just experience. You can't fully understand them, but you can experience them, and I find that fascinating. So okay, but you research stuff, and a lot of the weird stuff is based on what you researched. That's interesting.
We like to think around a few corners, so that by the end, when we arrive at our conclusion, people have already lost us. And then we're like, yeah, but you know, for example, the Sagittarius in the film, we didn't see him, but he's an apple, and he's an apple with horse legs. And everyone always asks, what zodiac sign? What's the apple? And then we're like, it's a Sagittarius, obviously, because Sagittarius, in like the classical depiction, is a centaur. So it's a human with horse legs. So that's where the horse legs came from. And the apple comes from because Sagittarius are, you know, they usually have a bow and arrow to shoot things or people. And our idea was that it's like Wilhelm Tell, but the other way around. So there's a big apple, and on top of the apple is a little person, and that person gets shot down from the apple.
Oh!
So,
Okay.
It all makes sense.
Yeah, but it makes perfect sense. Fascinating. Seema Sign in the chat is asking, is saying, guys, I'm getting curious about the movie. Please explain the topic of the movie a little bit.
Do you want to explain it?
I can try. It's a movie about the zodiac signs, and yeah, we are trying to tell the story. It begins with the Virgo. She's looking at some porn. He is looking at some porn in the internet, and it's a pop-up of a fish, of a Pisces. And because Scorpio and Pisces are very good together, they get along, the Scorpio pillow he has in his bag, the Virgo, becomes alive, and follows the Pisces. And on his trip following the Pisces around this zodiac world, he gets to know all the other zodiac signs, and we will see the Virgo again, and you just get to look in the life of all the zodiac signs based on their characteristics and traits they have. And at the end, there is a happy end, but just for the Scorpio, not for all of them.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So you're exploring Why did you choose that topic of the zodiacs? Like, is that something that do you believe in these traits?
A little bit, but at first it was because of the game. We wanted to have a rahmen, like a setting, or so that the game starts and that it has also an ending point, and it's good if you have numbers or something like that. And then we decided to have zodiacs, like 12 little mini games, and then we had the characters, and then we made a film with them.
Yeah, it was all about kind of we were thinking about this frame that we had, and while we were designing the mini games and we were thinking about, okay, what happens in these games, we were designing the characters, and we started researching more and more about zodiacs, and now we are experts. And it's really funny because it's such a good topic also to talk to people about, because basically everyone knows their zodiac sign, whether they believe in it or not.
Yeah.
And people are always like, most people don't know a lot about zodiac signs, so they're like, oh, I'm a Leo. What's the Leo like? What's the characteristics of Leo? And it's so fun that everyone kind of has this connection with zodiacs, even though it's not like it's a super present topic in our world today, but everyone kind of has some opinion on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. You're right. Everybody knows their zodiacs, even if they don't believe in it. And what this reminds me of is in Japan, they also know their blood type, because the blood type is also defining who they are. And, there are all these rules about if you're that blood type, you're like that. If you're that blood type, you're like that. And I find it fascinating that there is something like zodiacs, but in the Western cultures, we don't know about this. Interesting. So in your films, you also sent me a couple clips that we definitely cannot show on Facebook and Twitch, because there are adult themes in there. There is cartoon abstract nudity and stuff like this. And I was just wondering, what are your experiences with these adult topics, and why do you choose to do stuff like that instead of mainstream happy cartoons that are family friendly?
I think we love the humor that's in connecting this childlike aesthetic with really adult themes. I mean, I guess it's been done before. Happy Tree Friends, for example, is one of those things that's like heavily combines this expectation of this normal happy world, and then there's these graphic things happen, and we see a lot of humor and a lot of gags in that, I think, for once. And also, I mean, we are adults, and we didn't make the film for children, so obviously, you know, sexuality and violence is a part of our life and of our media experiences. So yeah, I think that also kind of reflects that. Yeah. And it's really funny because often the film gets reduced to like the sexuality. When we were in Hamburg at the film festival, they asked us, so you are two women, but why do you make a film about sex? Or was it I don't know where we got. And I thought, you know, it's not a film about sex, it's a film about life, and sex is just, I mean, it's a part of that.
Yeah,
And
you can see it everywhere when you open your computer. Everywhere is something like spam, or you have an email with penis enlargement or something like that. And in this film we also make it, but with I don't know, ugly or design, or with this the Pisces is a big lady, and it looks very funny when she's doing her striptease or doing sexy stuff at the
She's
internet.
like a flounder,
Yeah.
so she's very flat, but she has these huge breasts, and she can like whirl them around like a helicopter. And it's, you know, taking that aesthetic that is, you know, mainstream films have that aesthetic in their movies all the time, of like the hot babe who's like the eye candy. And I think we just love taking that and being like, okay, we also have this sexy hot babe, but she's like a big bad disgusting fish.
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of playing with that aesthetic. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So I think it's about time that we talk about your new project, and we can probably start that off with a little clip. I'm gonna show it, and then you guys can tell us more about what we're seeing there. Just a second. Okay, so yeah, what is this new project about?
It's I mean, I explained the clip a little bit.
Sure.
It's from our crowdfunding video. Because we have an animatic, and the animatic is in this style, in this 2D style, and we wanted to show how we want to translate our usual 2D style into the stop motion 3D aesthetic. And yeah, the film is, I think, a little bit the opposite of our last film. Maybe because we thought, okay, our last film had so many characters, so many places, really fun to design all of the places, but we wanted to tell kind of a really condensed, short story that's sort of to the point, whereas our last film was all over the place and really funny, and like a more of like a you watch it and you're kind of like, oh, there's so much happening, and now this is more of a slower paced film, and it's about two people who are in a relationship and they live together. And this relationship over the course of the film is slowly falling apart, and they are drifting apart. And it's very melancholic and sad, but also filled with kind of these surreal images. There is this whale that is like a tattoo on the leg of one of the characters, and at some point in the film it falls off of her and becomes three-dimensional, and it grows and grows and grows, and, you know, fills out first a little glass and then the bathtub, and then it's the whole room, and in the end it kind of destroys the entire house that they live in. Yeah.
Okay. Fascinating. And why did you switch from your usual 2D style to stop motion?
We wanted to try something new. We are studying at the moment, and we thought maybe it's a good opportunity to try it now, while we have this room at the university studio we don't have to pay for, and where we have time because we don't have to work on other animation projects to get money for our rent. Yeah.
We wanted to seize the opportunity.
Yeah.
And also we were actually, first when we started out, we wanted to make it 2D, like we usually do in TV Paint. And we went to Film Fest in Dresden.
Yeah.
And saw a really beautiful puppet stop motion film, and thought, okay, why don't we do this? I mean, we've never done it before, but now it's kind of now or never, because like, who's gonna pay us for a commercial that's stop motion? And we're like, okay, but it's gonna be super expensive. Yeah. I mean, hopefully, and at some point in the future, like companies like, we want to do a stop motion commercial with you. But yeah, and we both love all forms of animation. We love cutout animation, 2D, 3D, analog, digital. Yeah.
If the story is fun.
If the story is good and the design is good, it's any animation style can be so cool and so interesting.
Okay, nice. Just a little detour. I saw on your website that you are already doing some commercial animations for clients. How does that usually work? Do they approach you? Like, how do you get to make? I mean, you still make them in your own style. They're still very artsy. How do you find clients who are okay with this? Who are like, okay, yeah, we want it that way.
I think they ask us because of the design, that they maybe want something new, something fresh. For social media, I think it's very good to have something colorful, in maybe this childish style, so that everyone can get it. And I think that's our strength.
Yeah. And we get some people approach our professors at the university, and they write like emails like, we want to do this project with the students, because students are cheap. And we kind of just have this attitude: we will respond to anyone, see what their budget is. If the project is not fun for us to do and the budget is also not great, we will just say, okay, it's maybe not for us. If you only want to pay us €500 for a 3-minute animation and we have to animate it in this style that we don't like. That's how we get in contact. Someone also a musician wrote us on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, I think, and Facebook.
Yeah, and the collaboration, we had a collaboration with a radio station in Germany, that actually came about because I used to study theater before I studied animation, and I worked on a theater project in another city, and the guy from the radio station was in the crowd who saw the play, and I did animations for the stage design, but I also was on stage. So after we did the play, he came up to me and was like, we should collaborate on something. So that was really cool, because they've been consistently coming. And they are like, we need something new. So that's cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, then it's nice if collaborations like this, if you find partners who like your style, who like your stuff, and want exactly that is the best thing they can
don't have money.
Okay. Okay, before we start about much more different stuff, I just wanted to tell the people watching that if you want to support them making their new film, you can go to startnext.com/fishyfilms and make a small donation so that the expensive stop motion process can be supported, can be done so that they can make their new film. We have a question in the chat. Seema Sign asks, what difficulties do you face while making your movies? What are some difficulties, some challenges?
I think the first one that comes to mind for me is difficulties that come kind of from within. So doubting the project was definitely something. I mean, we talked about that earlier, that it helps to have another person there, but obviously if you have if someone asks you to do something for money, then you kind of have to do it anyway because you have a contract with them. Then that's not so much the problem, but I think for like your own artistic problems, your own artistic projects, I think the doubt is definitely could be an issue.
Yeah, I thought about maybe the storyline, because for us it's always clear why this character is doing this and why this is happening now, and we have a little bit problems with this, that everyone gets it, to tell a story and have all the shots you need so that the audience will definitely get what you want to tell. But I think we are getting better and better.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And obviously there's always money problems.
Money problems.
But also another thing, I mean, this is not really difficulty, but something that we learned from the other film that we did, which is maybe interesting, is that a 15-minute animated film, our movie is on rarely any animation festivals. Like most festivals, I would say 90% of the festivals where our film was in the program were festivals with real life films, live action films. It's interesting because you rarely see like this kind of length of animated films at a festival, like for example the ETFS in Stuttgart.
Or Annecy.
Or like short animations are usually between 5 and 10 minutes. So that was really interesting for us, that like the live action film festivals were like, yeah, sure, you're the shortest film in our short film project program. But the animated film festivals were like, okay, this is we could fit 3 other films in the spot where your one film would be. So yeah, that was really interesting.
Okay. So because of that, were there some festivals who wouldn't show your films because they were too long?
I mean, not everyone was.
We got from Mexico, from this festival there, GIFF. I think we got the email that we didn't fit in the program, and if you have, maybe you want a program of 60 minutes and you want to fit, I don't know, 20 short films, animated short films, then of course if you have something like 15 minutes, which is one quarter of an hour, then it's much. It's, I don't know.
Okay. Huh. All right.
Yeah. I mean, we have like 2-minute films where, we have like 2-minute or 3-minute films that I think quality-wise are not as good, but they were on more animation festivals. So I feel like they're like, this 2-minute film, let's throw it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, that's a thing to keep in mind too. If you want to have the festival run, so make something shorter that is quicker to make, and then you get your name out there. Okay. But I feel like this is pretty strange because I feel like the festival should be happy if they get content, because I mean, yeah, okay, there's a lot of content made worldwide, but I don't know. Okay. Fascinating.
Yeah. But it was cool being at all the live action festivals too, because we met really different people with and the programs are very different also. And
we are very special.
we are very special. We're the only animators in the program, and everyone's like, "Oh, how did you do that?" No, but it's fun. Also, it was a different experience. Just obviously from being at festivals that are purely animation, you don't stand out at all. 'Cause, you know.
Okay, fascinating. Yeah, maybe talk a little bit more about your film, Jeijay. You already did this stop motion test. Is there already something that you learned about stop motion that you can share with us?
Yeah, we thought, because we wanted to we have a certain style for like the bodies. When the arms of our figures are moving, it's not like a joint and like this, so they don't go like a V, but they're kind of like noodles without any bones. So we thought, we will do it like claymation, because that's kind of a material that can be like this. If we build armatures, then maybe we can't get this kind of noodle style in the movement. And we thought, okay, so to make a puppet completely out of clay, it's probably too heavy, it will fall over. So
and
we
it
were
will melt.
and
also.
it will melt under the lights. That's what another stop motion filmmaker told us.
Okay.
And we thought, I don't know, we just tried out different combination of materials, and we were like, oh, okay, so clay and this material, they just don't go together. The clay will just fall off. And like the way that we did the puppet now was with clay and then some stuff that like hardened over time. That's like air hardening clay or whatever.
Okay.
And this was, I mean, it was really difficult, and we're definitely not going to do it for the whole movie, because it was okay for this one shot. We kind of made it work because we were in a pinch. But yeah, we want to try out how it is with silicone puppets and armatures. And yeah, because our puppets are also naked a lot, and we want them to be really smooth.
Yeah.
So we don't want them to have a gritty texture, or we don't want it to look like skin. We really want it to look like rubber. So like really like artificial.
Because it's also very minimalistic and one color without shadows or something.
We're not going to color in details or anything. We really want it to be flat in a way, because our 2D style is like that, and we thought we really want to get that feeling also in the 3D animation.
Fascinating. Okay. But don't you, like with silicone, do you have like to cast like a mold? Like, do you have to heat that up, and like how does that work?
I mean, we haven't done it yet, so we are not the experts.
Yeah.
But the theory is that we will get some sculpturing clay that won't harden as fast as the air drying one, and kind of harden it in the oven. Then we will cast a mold that I think you can also do that with silicone, so the mold will be silicone, but I'm not sure, so please don't quote me on that. And then we thought we can put the armature that we will make from wire, so that it doesn't have joints, into the cast, and then we will cast the silicone, and then we will have a perfect little puppet.
That's the plan.
Paint the silicone.
And then we have to paint the silicone, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we will let you know when we do it, if it works or not, maybe. So anyone who wants to do stop motion and is listening to us right now and doesn't know how, you should probably talk to someone who's done it before.
Yeah.
It's already
Yeah.
got it. I mean, yeah, with your tests, it's already good to see what works and what doesn't work. And yeah, of course, all this material is expensive, which is why you have, well, not a Kickstarter, but a crowdfunding campaign. And if anybody wants to support you, they can do that at startnext.com/fishyfilms. And yeah, any small amount helps. So that would be really cool. If somebody says like, I wanna help, then this is how you can do that. startnext.com/fishyfilms.
We also have a really cool stuff for everyone who supports us.
Oh, of
And
course.
you get the film at the end, of course.
Yeah, everyone gets the film, and you can also get the original figures and the set and everything. So it's a very beautiful stuff. So it doesn't even feel like you're just giving away money. It feels like you're buying something precious and beautiful.
Oh yes. Maybe let's have a look at your page, because the stuff is indeed very beautiful that you can get there.
Thank you.
And so yeah, everybody, please check it out. I do have the screen prepared here. So yeah, here we have stickers and magnets and all this good stuff. So yeah, people, please check it out. I'm gonna show the link one more time. I was wondering, have you seen the stop motion film Animaliza from Kaufman?
Yeah, of course.
Anomalisa.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just know the German title.
I really like Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah, it's
really great. Yeah.
And it has a sex scene in it too, which is just so weird because you know that they're puppets, you feel that they're puppets, but they also have this rubber silicone skin, and it looks sort of real but also surreal. It's very strange. And
you see the marks of the face, how they put it off. They had to put every face expression off and put another one, and you see all the scars, and it doesn't matter. It's very good.
It's so fascinating, the style and everything. So interesting. Cool. So what is your plan on, like, what is the time frame in which you want to get this film made? How long do you estimate will it take?
We hope that we can start in August. I mean, we talked to some other people who did crowdfunding yesterday, and they were like, they finished like a month ago and they still didn't get any of the money. So we hope that we probably will have to spend our own money and then repay ourselves. But we want to start in August, and then really we are very fast workers in a way, because we really, when we want to get something done, we will be there all day, every day. We have no weekends. And we want to finish with the sound design and the post-production, everything next March.
Yeah. February, March. Yeah.
Okay.
So August to March, and then
6 minutes, and I think
it's
6 or 7 months. Yeah.
We have a question in the chat from Seema. Jumping from digital animation to stop motion, how do you manage making the same character face, same texture every time? Oh yeah, how do you do the faces? How did you do the face in the test?
We want to make it in 2D. It's drawn on with paint.
So the characters will actually have no eyes and no mouth. And no eyebrows in the stop motion puppets, and then we will draw that on with TV paint, and we will also, there are some flies, for example, in the film. There's like going to be more and more flies coming into their apartment, and we also want to do them with TV paint. Yeah.
And outside the house, it's all in their flat, and outside of this, everything will be in 3D.
Yeah.
We have a 3D artist who will build everything, and the water is coming later on, and everything will be underwater with a whale, and this will be in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a 3 technique combination.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that you combine the strength of the different types, because animating like a swarm of flies in stop motion is just torture if you have just like many little flies, and for each fly you have to move the wings without touching the other flies. Like, that will probably not work. And then, I mean, big productions do it too, that they use 3D for the sets. Like Leica, if they did like Box Trolls or Paranorman, they would have set extensions and sometimes pure digital sets made in 3D. Okay. Yeah, that's probably also a very important takeaway, that you need to use the technology that is right for the job.
Yeah, so that everything looks very smooth at the end. Because something like eyes in stop motion, it's never going to look perfect.
Yeah, to put it at the exact same spot. How's your process in general? Like, you know exactly how long your film is. That probably means you're working with storyboards and animatics, right?
Yeah, if we don't, we will get scolded by our teachers. No, but we never really write a script, because our films also never really have any dialogue. So we always start by working visual, kind of. So we have a treatment, so we know, like, okay, this is going to happen, and then this, and then this. And then we start with the storyboard and with the shots. So I'm like, okay, when when they're sleeping in the bed, it would be nice to have an overhead shot, right? And then she's like, okay. So then we draw it out, we make the composition, everything in the storyboard. And then because we are kind of lazy, but that's why we're so productive. We just use the images from the storyboard to make our animatic. Some things, like you have to add some animation to kind of know what's happening in the scene. But our animatics are usually very like, there's not so much animation in there. We will kind of like put the storyboard images behind each other and trying to get a good timing, maybe add some sounds and some music.
Because we are only working together, and we know what's happening there. If we had some other one who have to watch it, he will not get this animatic, I think.
Yeah. It's for us to kind of know, okay, we don't want to waste any time doing shots that we, in the end, then we're like, this close-up, we don't really need it. So we want everything to be like exactly the way it should be in the end, in the animatic, so that we know, okay, now we need a close-up of her face for like 10 seconds, and then we can just do that. And 10 seconds is a bit long for a close-up, but so we know, like, okay, in this scene it's a close-up and she's looking down, and then we just like every film production pretty much. You
do exactly what you need. Makes sense. Okay, cool. What softwares do you use to make your storyboards and the animatics?
I think for both we just use TV Paint
and
After Effects. That's the main things we use anyway. We sometimes do things with Photoshop, but we don't use any like storyboard software. That's just for storyboards or just for animatics.
I think we tried to, because a friend taught us, but we couldn't make the download or something like this.
That's possible.
Or we were so used to TV Paint that we were like, oh, fuck.
It's so if you're in the workflow and you know all the shortcuts on your keyboard and
Yeah.
you know how to make the frame stand there for like 12 frames longer and it's easy, then it's kind of it's kind of hard to switch softwares and then you have to learn everything all over again.
Yeah, we are old. We don't learn things so fast.
Yeah. I mean, TV Paint is really bad for sound, so we, in the end, we
Yeah.
always composite everything in After Effects and then add some sound in there. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So, some people were already asking questions in the chat while we were talking. I just wanna say once again that if you guys have any questions, you viewers, please just type them now in the chat, and we're gonna answer them. And there's one question that I absolutely have to ask you guys, because it's something that I always ask everyone. Namely, what would your advice be to someone who is just starting out with animation, who is interested in animation? What is the most important thing you want to share with them?
Maybe stick to your idea. If you have something in your mind and it's small and you're not sure, stick to it. Just do it. And if you have it, then you will be proud and you can start something new.
Yeah.
If you don't like it anymore, but
and even if you do the whole, like, I mean, of course, animation takes a lot of time. So if your idea is for a feature film, maybe start small. But definitely, even if you do it and it doesn't look the way you want it to look and nobody likes it, everyone who sees this is like, wow, this is disgusting. You still learn something while doing it. So I mean, you can only learn how to animate by doing it. So even if you make a 3-minute film and at the end you're like, okay, I'll just put this in the garbage, you still learned how to animate and you learned how to start doing stuff.
And also maybe if you put music on it, or you can ask somebody to help you with the sound design. You will never do the sound design if you don't finish your film. And this is very important, I think.
Yeah. Cool. And also start small is also like, stick with your ideas, but also start small, especially with animation, because you can get overwhelmed so fast, because it is a lot of work. You know, you have, no matter what style you're doing, it is a lot of work. And just start with a loop, or something that's a few seconds long, and usually like the seeing it at the end and there's just something moving and something alive that was just an object before or a drawing before, that's like always really gratifying to me. So if you have an idea for a character, just make him do something, even if it's just blinking, and you will be like, oh, it's magic, he's blinking, he's alive.
Sweet, great advice, thank you. I have a question about what do you use to capture the stop motion? What cameras do you use? What software?
Dragonframe.
We use at the university we use Dragonframe.
Okay.
And we have a university camera. I think it's a Canon, but our university is broke, so I don't think it's a very new model. But you can definitely get HD shots with that. Probably not 4K, but we usually do our films in HD, so that's okay. So we use a Canon and Dragonframe, and for this really small part that you saw where she's cutting off her braid, we only had like for lighting, we only had a piece of styrofoam and a Baustrahler. I don't know what it's in English.
One big light.
So we had like one really big aggressive light, and there was no other stuff in our in our space at the university. There were no lights other than this thing, and we were just like, okay, it's we're just gonna shine this at the styrofoam thing and try to make it look a little bit nice. And yeah, but hopefully with the Kickstarter we can rent some nice lights for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, you need a lot of more stuff now for stop motion. So yeah, once again, if anyone wants to support you, oh, I don't find the thing where I have to click here. You can go to startnext.com/fishyfilms and support them. Every small little bit of money helps.
Yes.
And yeah, it's gonna be an awesome movie. Maybe let me show the rewards again. So if you go to startnext.com/fishyfilms, you are getting to this page over here, and there you can support them and you get a little bit in return. You can watch the film, of course, that you helped to be made, and you get magnets and stickers and illustrations, postcards, I think too. So yeah, but most importantly, you help to get an awesome project made. So let me check if there are any more questions that we haven't answered yet. Well, outside people are honking right in front of my street.
Why?
I think it's a wedding.
It's probably a wedding. Yeah.
Also.
I thought maybe the German women's soccer team won or something.
Oh, that would be amazing if for the German women's soccer team there would be people honking in the streets. I kinda doubt it. But yeah.
Maybe some really dedicated women's soccer.
Yeah.
They kind of passed like 3 times. Like I guess you wouldn't pass down here 3 times for a wedding because you usually go from the church to the
maybe it's just a big wedding and there's like so many people.
Many people
going. Yeah.
All right. At the moment, we don't have any more questions, but of course, people can just reach you on social media, on your website, if they are interested on how the project is going to continue. Here's once again the website, fishyfilms-animation.de, where you can see their work, and then of course, if you want to support the project, the stop motion project, you can do that at startnext.com/fishyfilms. All right. Okay. So, do you guys have anything to add?
No, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. My
It
pleasure.
was our first live stream.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry if we're a bit awkward.
Yeah. My English is not so good.
No, it was wonderful talking to you, and yeah, maybe we talk again when you can tell us about all the mistakes that you made with your film and what you learned from it.
Hopefully not too much.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you will get it done. Dedication helps a lot, and yeah, thank you very much. It was a fantastic talk with you guys, and yeah. So, everyone watching, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, you can probably still write comments, and we can have a look at that later. And yeah, thank you all very much. And yeah, see you in the next live stream. Bye bye.
See you.